Welcome to Amazing Mind, the Hypnosis TV talk show that introduces you to all sorts of interesting people and topics related to subconscious behavior. My name is Lisa Machenberg, hypnotherapist, HMI instructor, and host. Today we have an amazing guest. It is my privilege to introduce you to Carrie Freeman. Now, Carrie is an honors grad of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She is also a speaker for the American Hypnosis Association. And we're really, really lucky because this is her first stop on her ebook tour to introduce her brand new book. Let me make sure I get this right. It is called Good Evidence and Positive Noticing. Please help me welcome my guest, Carrie Freeman. Carrie, I so enjoyed your book.
Thank you.
But I first wanted to ask you, right under the title it says, Beyond the Law of Attraction. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, I discovered a need for a different door to the law of attraction. That sometimes people are in a situation where they can't imagine, they can't visualize, they cannot act as if because of the conditions of their life. So I found a way to ignite the law of attraction through a backdoor technique.
Tell us about it.
That's effortless, basically.
Oh, it's effortless.
Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of effort, is effortless. Can you tell us about it?
Well, it's about positive noticing. It's about, on a daily basis, doing a Zen awareness of any little event that happens that makes you feel good, any action you take that makes you feel good, contribution or coincidence or synchronicity. And when you acknowledge and jot those down, it's not work because they happened. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to create it. It just happened. Somebody held the door for you. Somebody gave you a compliment. You got an unexpected check.
I have to pick up on something you just said. You said you have to jot it down. Why is that important?
Well, you know, as hypnotherapists, we know the importance of handwriting, even though handwriting is becoming obsolete. But jotting this down, and it's not writing, because people are afraid of writing, you're just jotting down, it reinforces what's going on in the subconscious, and it begins to build these new pathways for the good evidence, because we're not oriented that way. So I say write it down, watch it grow.
You know, you said the word evidence. When I think of evidence, I think of scary legal stuff. In reality, what is evidence?
Well, when I do this lecture, I always give the same definition. Excuse me, but I'm going to read it. Evidence is usually thought of in a legal term, but this is a whole different kind of evidence. But here's the definition. Something that gives a sign or proof of the existence of a truth, of something, or that helps somebody come to a particular conclusion. It's real, it's concrete.
Can you give us some examples?
Yeah. All right, so here's just my own little log here. I began a pay it forward line at Starbucks today, made me smile. Helped a lost and confused senior citizen at the grocery store, opened my heart. A kitten slept on my chest, joyful. My airplane arrived 30 minutes early, amazing. So those are just some examples.
I noticed two things. Not only are you writing down the evidence, but you're also attaching it to an emotion.
Yeah.
So just to make sure they have it right, well, I'll go for today. Everybody knows I live on Planet Teenager. I have twin 17-year-old sons and a 15-year-old daughter. Everybody got out of the door on time today for school, and I felt competent as a mom. Would that be considered evidence?
Completely evidence. It made you happy. Something flowed. It just went bing, bing, bing. This worked. Evidence. It's that simple. It's not work.
You know, I need to hold your feet to the fire here. And many times we start seeing our clients where they're in the depth of very, very tough times. It's really hard to find good evidence when suddenly there's a scary diagnosis, there's a turn in the economy. What happens when there is no good evidence?
When there is no good evidence, I actually love this question. What you have to do is make a contribution. You have to find a way to jumpstart the energy by just becoming a good listener for a friend, going out, paying somebody a compliment, opening a door, giving somebody your line in the grocery store. Just jumpstarting the energy helps that, really.
Kind of a personal question.
Yeah.
Have you ever used this during tough times? Or have you ever used this with people who are going through really tough times?
I've used this a lot during tough times. My best friend from childhood passed away, God bless her, 3 years ago from cancer.
I'm sorry.
And when it was a 2-year battle, and she knew about the evidence work, and she liked it. So I said, what do you think about doing it while you're going through chemotherapy? And she loved it. So she took this evidence and she taught it to everybody in her chemotherapy group. And I'm not stating this is a lifesaver, but it did improve the quality of her life, and it created something positive for that group in chemotherapy to share and talk about. Because while you're having a crisis like that, there's flowers, there's phone calls, there's love from friends. She got donations because she was broke. And so she got money. So there was some beautiful things happened to her while she was going through this.
So it didn't change the outcome, but it sure changed the journey.
It absolutely did, yeah.
And I bet she made a lasting impact on everybody who shared this exercise with her.
Absolutely.
And, you know...
And it helped me too.
How did it help you?
Because of my grief. But this is what I can say for sure to everybody. While something tragic is going on, there are always incidences that are positive. And but I'm trained now where I can be in grief, but I can see, oh, that happened, and just jot it down. And it kind of balances out the brain ledger, creates some balance.
Yes. I liked that you said that she shared it in a group, because otherwise it feels a little solitary.
It can be. I discovered something wonderful this year after many years of doing this. I got an evidence buddy.
An evidence buddy.
An evidence buddy. It's a friend, and we share our good evidence twice a week. And it gives us bragging rights. You know, like it's that person is a witness for all my good news, and I'm a witness for all her good news. And it's intimate, and it's a community, and it makes it grow.
You know why I like that? Because if you have an evidence buddy, it's not bragging. What it is you are sharing. And the other reason is it makes you become hypervigilant because you need something to share with your buddy.
Accountability.
It does. Because, all right, I have a question. Many people know that in addition to having private practice, I also have some groups. And I start every single group by going around the room and saying, okay, everybody, what went right? And I get a blank stare. If I ask the question, what went wrong? All the hands shoot up. Why is it so easy to identify what went wrong, and it's really difficult to identify what went right?
Well, those of us who are hypnotherapists, we know there's a familiar and an unfamiliar model up here. So we always move towards what's familiar, even if it's not good for us. But when we're born, babies get attention when they have colic. Children get attention when they fall down and get a boo-boo. They get a bandage. When they get sick, they get chicken soup. We are trained pre-verbally to get attention through negative circumstances. And so then we have to overcome it. And very few people are teaching their children, like, good evidence. Like, what good happened today, Johnny? Oh, I gave Sally my tuna sandwich. How did that make you feel? Oh, she was so happy about that. We're not trained like that. I would like to see people doing that with their children or in schoolrooms.
I think that is one of the most important things that we can teach. You know...
And it leads to gratitude.
I wanted to ask, because this sounds a lot like some of the books that I've read on gratitude. Is this the same as gratitude?
It is not. It is a cousin of gratitude. It leads to gratitude, because when you start noticing these events or your own good actions, it leads to gratitude. You just automatically become grateful, so you don't have to work at gratitude.
Sure, because those exercises that say, write 5 things that you're grateful for today, that was a lot of effort.
I found that hard work. I mean, how many days can I say, oh, I just love Starbucks coffee, and I do. But how many days in a row can I say that? But the events happen. I walk out the door and they happen. You know, it's amazing. And if people start focusing, they will notice. I'm pointing out to clients, did you realize that was evident? Oh, that's right. Write it down. So I actually train people to start noticing the evidence. It really isn't that easy in the beginning.
I was just going to ask that question. You're reading my mind. How, you also have a private practice in addition to your writing.
Right.
How do you use this with clients? How can we use this with our clients?
Well, ultimately, it proves to the client that their life is better than they think it is. When
That's
I get
wild.
them practicing this, they realize, and it starts a healing process.
How do we introduce it?
You introduce it with the definition of evidence, and you can say very simply, if you don't read the book, but I want you to read the book, is bring in 5 events this week that made you feel good. And if there weren't 5, bring in how many made you feel good. And you can just start and say, okay, we're going to call that your good evidence. You can just start it that way.
I can picture all my clients coming in with little tiny pieces of paper. Is it important to have it all in one place?
I recommend a little notebook. I keep a notebook. It's not fancy. I mean, I've bought $1.29 notebooks and done this, and I just write evidence in a Sharpie, each page, evidence and the date, and then I just do a little asterisk and I write, you know, got a free croissant this morning, you know, just whatever.
Do you ever stop and look at all your evidence books?
Oh yeah, they're incredible. I keep them.
What does it teach you?
Well, it's just looking like pages and pages of good news, and it shows me that the beauty of life goes up, and sometimes it goes down and challenges us, but it always goes up again. This I know for sure. It's scientific, because if I took a gymnasium and I laid every piece of evidence paper down from all my journals, it's like a graph, and it always goes back up. So it helps me during the difficult times, because I know for sure it's going to go back up, you know. And it gives me pleasure. It just lights me up.
Well, your evidence book is evident. And when you ever have doubt, you can go back and you can look. I want to come full circle. You talked about using this when you're in a tough time and you can't find good evidence, and how that can lead you into using the law of attraction. Speak to how you get back to the law of attraction from positive noticing.
Well, it's about energy. And energy isn't in the title of my book, but it's really about raising energy. So even, you know, I talk about coincidences, because we all have coincidences, and they're so much fun when they have them. Or a psychic event or a synchronicity. Even that raises energy, and I say write it down. So when you raise energy, you kick in the law of attraction. But through my book, you're not necessarily doing it through visualization. You're doing it through, oh, this happened, oh, that happened, oh, I finished that chapter, oh, I went to the gym, oh, Lisa Machenberg called me and asked me to do an interview. That went into my evidence book, see?
I hope so.
Absolutely.
That
I was
you're
excited.
sitting in the studio audience, everybody, write it down in your good evidence book. You know, Carrie, everybody is going to want to get a copy of your ebook. Can you tell us how?
Basically through Amazon.com, Smashwords. That's it. It's that simple.
Sounds easy.
Yeah.
Do you also have a private practice?
I have a private practice in the greater Los Angeles area. I Skype, I do FaceTime, and I'm available.
That's good, because we have an international audience. And you can reach Carrie Freeman at hmigrads.com. Well, we need to take a short break, but please stay tuned, because when we return, we're going to have another HMI grad. We're going to have Dr. John McGrail coming on and talking about his book, The Synthesis Effect. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa Machenberg, hypnotherapist, HMI instructor, and host. Today we have an amazing guest. It is my privilege to introduce you to Carrie Freeman. Now, Carrie is an honors grad of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She's also a speaker for the American Hypnosis Association. And we're really, really lucky, because this is her first stop on her ebook tour to introduce her brand new book. Let me make sure I get this right. Welcome to Amazing Mind, the Hypnosis TV talk show that introduces you to all sorts of interesting people and topics related to subconscious behavior. My name is, it is called Good Evidence and Positive Noticing. Please help me welcome my guest, Carrie Freeman. Carrie, I so enjoyed your book.
Thank you.
But I first wanted to ask you, right under the title it says, Beyond the Law of Attraction. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, I discovered a need for a different door to the law of attraction. That sometimes people are in a situation where they can't imagine, they can't visualize, they cannot act as if because of the conditions of their life. So I found a way to ignite the law of attraction through a backdoor technique.
Tell us about it.
That's effortless, basically.
Oh, it's effortless.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
my favorite kind of effort, is effortless. Can you tell us about it?
Well, it's about positive noticing. It's about, on a daily basis, doing a Zen awareness of any little event that happens that makes you feel good, any action you take that makes you feel good, contribution or coincidence or synchronicity. And when you acknowledge and jot those down, it's not work because they happened. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to create it. It just happened. Somebody held the door for you. Somebody gave you a compliment. You got an unexpected check.
I have to pick up on something you just said. You said you have to jot it down. Why is that important?
Well, you know, as hypnotherapists, we know the importance of handwriting, even though handwriting is becoming